I'd like to call meeting to order.
You're gonna have to hit it. Do it again.
Call meeting to order. Let the record show that all board members are present. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda as was submitted to us.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, the first thing on our agenda is recognitions. 2025-26 West Virginia School Studies Regional State Level Award winners. Ms. Hodges.
Good evening, President Ford, Superintendent Dr. Starcher, fellow board members. This evening, we are recognizing our Raleigh County students that placed in the Regional Social Studies Fair and or the State Social Studies Fair. You probably will recall this journey for these students started back probably before Christmas break. Most schools had their school competitions around between Thanksgiving, Christmas. We had the county fair in early February, and then those that moved on from the county, they went to regionals. I believe it was in March, and then just literally a couple of weeks ago, these students finished up at states. So I'm super excited to present a whole lot of kids with recognition this evening. I am going to start with elementary, and before we start, I know that Miss Polly will be taking pictures, but after elementary is finished, if you guys wouldn't care to maybe make a group outside, we're going to get each group, so elementary, middle, and then that way it'll free up some space, and if you don't want to stay for everybody, you don't have to. So we will start with elementary, starting at Maxwell Hill Elementary. First place at regional, Ira Bennett. A group project from Beckley Elementary. First place regional and honorable mention state. The group is Grayson Hinkle, Ivory Johnson, and Jersey Hodges.
You want to sit them back down?
Yeah. From Shady Spring Elementary, first place regional, second place state, Xander Workman.
Did you say mom and dad want to come up? Do you want a picture with them, mom and dad? We can take a picture on your phone if you want. You want to? We'll post it. You want-
From Stanford Elementary, another group in regional first place and in state second place. That group is Emma Yost, Reagan Dangerfield, and Nora Meter.
Two. Get out of here. Mom, do you want a picture? Yes, please. Whatever. Whatever.
From St. Francis, first place regional, first place state, Asher Tanvir.
Do you want us to take a picture? Do you want us to take a picture? I locked myself out. It'll be available on our website. So. Thank you. You're welcome.
From Hollywood, first place regional, honorable mention state, Anavi Rahman.
It's Polly there.
From Beckley Elementary, first place regional, honorable mention state, group, Grayson Beckett and Teddy Sweeney. At this time, if all elementary winners would go outside for the group picture. Follow Miss Polly. And elementary, you're free to go if you want to, not spend your whole evening with us.
But you can stay.
Yes, but you could stay. Yeah. I got about 8,000 more.
They're going to do the elementary group picture outside. Yes. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I can, I'll get the picture.
Okay. For middle school, first place regional, second place state from St. Francis, Assad Tanvir.
I don't do it 1, 2, 3. That's
It's probably because he can't count to 3. From Park Middle School, first place regional, Reagan Moore. I don't think I saw Reagan. From Beckley Stratton Middle, a group project placing first place regional and first place state, Marion Jaweed and Zoe White. From Independence Middle, first place regional, third place state, from Independence Middle, Owen Worrells.
one more.
It's,
What's that? Also, you get in there?
go ahead, Miss Gordon.
Outside, 1, 2, 3, I did everything. Ready?
From Trap Hill Middle School, first place in regional, third place in state, Asher Worley. From Park Middle School, first place regional, third place state, group project, Trinity Clay and Brenna Stump. From Beckley Stratton Middle School, first place regional, Margaret Cummings. From Park Middle School, first place in regional, second place in states, Malik Muhammad. Shady Spring Middle, first place regional, second place state. Group project, Madison Daniel and Peyton Farley. And our last middle school winner from Park Middle School, first place regional, first place state, Yashmit Panta.
The danger.
Mhm.
She's here now, so call her up. She was a
Mhm.
part of
Before middle school exits for their picture, want to recognize Reagan Dangerfield from Stanford Elementary, first place regional, second place state. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cute. That's cute. One more.
Middle school winners, if you would step outside for the group picture. You want to go ahead and do high school?
Mr. Dillon, can you get? Can you take this picture?
Moving to Division III high school winners. From Woodrow Wilson High School, first place in regionals, Emily Simpson.
You want to come up and take it?
A group project from Woodrow Wilson High School, first place in regional, second place in states, Syed Jaweed, Suleiman Jaweed, and Kofi Akanan Anan. It's just me. Also from Woodrow Wilson High School, placing first place in regional, second place in states, Gavin Lockhart.
Would you like to get in the picture? Get in a picture? That's what little sisters do.
Oh, everybody panicked. From Woodrow Wilson High School, first place in regional, Lauren Basham. First place in regional, honorable mention at states from Woodrow Wilson High School, Annalie Kostelnock. Group from Woodrow Wilson High School, first place regional, second place states, Gabriella Lowe, Jemiah Rogers, Carter Croston, and Amaya Richardson. Still from Woodrow Wilson High School, first place regional, second place in states, a group project, Talon Huffman and Brianna England. And our final high school winner, and I feel it's important to note this again, all of our high school winners this time were from Woodrow Wilson High School. First place regional, first place state, Molly Grass. If all of our high school winners would step outside for a group picture.
What was the first name of the Woodrow one?
I don't know. Well, I'll just put them on the pony.
Okay. Are you gonna take all of them? Yeah. They should be. I know who they are. Well, they should be.
If it's wherever the high school group started.
There you go. Good night. Thanks.
Do you want me to just go on to the next thing?
Mister, do you want to say what the next one is?
It's B.
Okay, our next division will be a U.S. Presidential Scholar recipient from Woodrow Wilson.
Good evening again. This evening I will be presenting a very honorable award, in my opinion. For those of you that may not know, the U.S. Presidential Scholars Program was established in 1964 by executive order of the President. We have a wonderful student in our audience today that I get to tell you a whole lot of good things about. The White House Commission on Presidential Scholars Program honors some of the nation's most distinguished graduating high school seniors. Students are recognized for excellence in academics, the arts, and career and technical education. Maya was selected as one of 3 female semifinalists from West Virginia from a national pool of about 6,500 candidates. This highly prestigious U.S. Presidential Scholars Program has named Maya Panta as one of the 2026 national semifinalists. A little more about Maya. Throughout high school, she has participated in the International Science and Engineering Fair, the International Mechanical Engineering Congress and Exposition, the National Junior Science and Humanities Symposium, and the West Virginia Academy of Science. Her engineering research has focused on thermal, fluid sciences, and energy technology, including innovative heat exchanger designs. She founded Maya's Project STEM, a community service project that has provided hands-on engineering activities to hundreds of students in our county. In addition, Maya has actively taken leadership roles in the Science Club, Society of Women of Engineers, competed in cross-country, Rho Kappa, We the People, and STEM summer camps. Let's please give Maya another congratulations.
Well, it don't get any better than that.
Maya, where are you going to go to school? Have you picked your school yet? Princeton? Good deal.
Okay, moving right along, we have no agenda items. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Difference Maker Award recipient, Dr. Starcher.
Okay, board members, each month we pick a difference maker. As of late, we've had several nominations coming in, and this month's difference maker actually had 3 nominations. So I am going to recognize all 3 of those. This man has been driving my children and nephew's bus for years. He is so kind and fair with all of the kids. He always tries to start and end their day in a positive way. A lot of them have sayings or nicknames from or for him. Some even silly little quotes they say that he has an equally silly response. He is always on time, even early. I don't know what the situation is, but sometimes he even has to pick the high school run up with his middle school run. He goes above and beyond in many ways to make school a good experience. I really might be a little biased because he actually drove the van at daycare for my sister and myself as children. And we could tell you many stories about him from even our childhood. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a calling that he answered fully and continues to do so with every opportunity provided. That's the first nomination. This bus operator always goes above and beyond for the kids on his bus, but today he went way extra. On the middle school run in the afternoon of April 10th, 2026, there was a suspicious individual at the end of the street on Peters Drive. The bus operator had the middle school girls who normally walk home stay on the bus and ride with him to pick up the elementary kids to give the suspicious individual time to leave the street. On the elementary run, the person was still there, so he drove his bus down Peters Drive, which is a dead-end street, just to ensure all students arrived home safely. My daughter is one of the middle school girls who he kept safe today. This is the third. Not only does this bus operator always greet our children with a smiling face every morning and every afternoon, but he goes above and beyond to talk to our kids about how their day was, and he provides honest and encouraging feedback, making every child at least feel seen and heard. In one particular occurrence, this bus operator noticed a man at the top of our hill on his bus run on our dead-end street. My children's bus stop is at the top of the hill where this man was. Instead of dropping our children off there, he went down our road and dropped each and every individual child off in front of their house and watched them go in to ensure they were safe and in the house. My children love the bus, all because of this bus operator. To the point they hustle in the mornings to ensure we don't miss it because, quote, their morning will be ruined if they don't see him. Scott Witt deserves all the recognition for being such an amazing person. Come forward, Mr. Witt. Here's your award. These are for partners. And I want to thank Director Tony for getting here for that presentation tonight, right?
Oh. Yeah, congratulations on your commitment to protecting our children. Thank you. No agenda items. Non-agenda items. We have 2 speakers that have signed up. Jessica Bolden.
Howdy.
You have 5 minutes.
My daughter, they are talking about moving her to a different school because they was doing away with the special ed program at Crescent and Senator Cranberry. It seems like every 3 years she gets sent to a different school. She started in Mabscott. Then they needed to send her to Crescent because they didn't have the program at Mabscott. And then now they're talking about sending her plumb to Cranberry. We're afraid of her regressing. She's doing well with potty training and everything. She's 8 years old. and she's finally got to where she's potty training very well. Her behavior, she's able to write and read and spell now. She wasn't able to do any of that. And her health concerns with Cranberry, we live in Mabscott. She has epilepsy, and it's 20 minutes away from us, and we have no way of getting to her and to the hospital in that amount of time. Mabscott was in the backyard. Crescent's 3 minutes up the road. We want what's best for her, and we want to be sure that, you know, she's going to be on the same learning level. We want to know how academically and medically and everything, how this will benefit her by moving her to a different school. We're supposed to have like a meeting or something tomorrow, and we would like for the IEP people to be there, her speech and all of them. We would like an opportunity to also meet with her teacher. We would like to know what kind of opportunities she would have with her general ed peers. On a typical day that she would have at her new school, we would like to know how that would go. At the current school, she has academics 5 to 6 times a day, and we want to make sure that that's still going to continue. We don't agree with this placement. You know, we are scared. She gets scared in unfamiliar places with people to the point that she starts crying and her face starts whelping up. I did see where it said that if there was a disagreement, according to the National Center for Learning Disabilities, that her current IEP and placement would have to, it couldn't change for the resolution process. You know, every student learns different. She has different instruction needs and support. Alternate would impact her learning and progress. It's not just about placements, it's the appropriate placement. They make progress in the environment that they fit in. And I don't want my kid overlooked because she's different. Everybody's different. That don't make them any less. They all deserve to learn and have routine and stability. It's, you know, based on her IEP, not the staffing or space limits or anything like that. I did receive this as well about how she was making significant progress towards her academic goals at Crescent. We're afraid that she will lose that if she gets moved. That is all.
Thank you. Okay, Bishop Cipolleti.
Is red on or off? On. All right. Very good. Yeah. Thank you for allowing me time to meet with you all this evening. Sorry I've missed the last couple board meetings. Life has gotten in the way. I first came before this board a couple months ago, and I stayed the entire time. And I had an opportunity to talk to some of you afterwards. In particular, President Ford, you and I had a nice conversation, and you acknowledged that this board was aware of E7A and the requirement for students to be enrolled full-time in that school was an issue. You were made aware of my son and the young lady that was trying to do cheerleading. When I asked you why this board hadn't acted, you indicated that nobody like me had come. You said this board would get that fixed. Unfortunately, I missed the last board meeting where you guys did make some revisions, and I see some yellow, but I don't see anything to this very first part, which says the kids have to be enrolled full time. And so I'm a little dismayed at the lack of action from this board. And so I have a few questions for you all, 5 to be exact. If this board agrees that this current policy is wrong and outdated, okay, which some of you did after that meeting, what specific reason justifies continuing to enforce a policy you know is causing harm and inequity? I'd love a response. And I can email you these questions too if you would like. My second question is, what condition are you waiting on to take place before taking action? Why is it that there's some threshold that's more important than correcting a known problem? Third question, how do you reconcile your legal and ethical responsibility to act in students' best interest with a decision to knowingly maintain a flawed policy? And I want to highlight students because I noticed kids from St. Francis up here at multiple meetings. Okay, so students encompasses more than just what you would consider Stanford elementary students. Okay. My fourth question is, what message do you believe this board is sending to students, staff, and taxpayers when it acknowledges a policy is wrong but chooses not to correct it? The coach at Stanford was on board. The principal at Stanford was on board. They're still on board. I ran into Kevin the other day. He asked me if the board had fixed this problem. He was hoping my son could come try out again. So it's not an issue with the staff. It's this policy. And here's my last question. I'm gonna look at you, Mr. Snuffer, because I believe your bio says you have 6 kids and 12 grandkids. Okay, well that's what. Okay, 13. Well, congratulations, good sir. Your quiver is full. So if this policy were affecting your own child, one of those 6, one of those 13 grandkids, would you still consider delay in inaction acceptable? Or would you be like me, incredibly disappointed at the inaction? I hope you will think about that. And I will leave you with this. Given the seriousness of these concerns that I have raised to this board, that have been acknowledged that this policy is flawed, I would love a written response from each of you explaining why you believe the continued requirement for elementary students to be enrolled full-time in that school to participate in sports is justified. I already showed you code that once they hit 6th grade, they're allowed to play. You have my email address because I sent all of you an email with my public comment. I know how this works. The policy's open. I know it's not a highlighted section. I genuinely would love to hear your thoughts as to why you refuse to update this piece. Thank you for your time.
Board reports, Dr. Hutchins.
Always first. Well, I have continued to work at Stratton, and as a matter of fact, I believe it was one day last week, assisted with a book fair that they had down there. And I was there when the lower grades, kindergarten, first were in, and it was really interesting. It was a scholastic book fair. It was really interesting watching them come in and trying to make their selection. Some of them zoomed right to the book they knew they wanted. Others took their time and picked up almost all of them. Others ignored the books and went for, I call it, the junk stuff that was there in the front. So anyway, it was interesting. And also I read my last time at my Clear Fork kindergarten class. I can't say enough about that group of kids. I just love them. And I will tell this story, but I'm a crier, so please bear with me if I cry. When I walked through the door, this young man jumped out of his seat and ran over immediately and hollered, "Dr. Hutchins," and grabbed me around the legs and hugged me, which I didn't think anything about it because kindergarten kids are huggers, and they often grab you around the legs and hug you. And so I hugged him back, and then several of them lined up after that to come and hug. And we talked a while, and then I read 3 stories, I guess, 3 or 4, I don't remember. And afterwards, I read right before lunch, they went to lunch. And the teacher in the classroom said to me, I have to tell you something. And I said, okay. She said, it's about the young man, the little boy that ran over and hugged you immediately. She said, first of all, I'm amazed that he remembered your name. She said, I haven't mentioned your name for probably a couple of weeks. I did tell them you were going to come to read one last time, but I haven't mentioned your name. So she said, I'm surprised that he remembered your name. And then she said, I'm also very surprised that he hugged you. She said, he's the type of child that doesn't reach out to people very often. And he doesn't interact a lot with others. And she said, he does not give hugs to anyone. And she said, the only thing I can say to you is that you have made a real difference in him by coming to read to them. So go read if you get a chance. The kids are wonderful.
Ms. Smith,
I'm good.
Ms. Hamrick,
I think I'm good. I love your story. I love kindergarten kids, though. They're the best. Oh, they are.
Mr. Snuffer.
I'm not going to hug you today, just so you know. Maybe later, right? Maybe later. Well, what?
Not around
Let's go. That thing. Let's sit down there. What can I? No, but I've got. I was good. You told that story, and it reminded me of so many of the stories that I've told before about when I was Santa Claus at Stratton. Those stories. I mean, children, they get to your heart, because no matter where a kid's at or what a kid's doing, they're still kids, and they all have the same needs, the same wants, and so many times. We judge a kid and don't have any clue what that kid's experiencing at home or in life or anything else. And sometimes the only bright spot those kids had is that lady who came in and read to him.
Yep.
And so we thank you for doing that. First, my report stuff. I did get to go to Woodrow Wilson Auditorium this last weekend for a dance recital. My granddaughter takes dance through there. And every time I go in that auditorium, I'm just impressed how beautiful it is. And people still come to me and say, man, these bathrooms are fancy. Yeah, I feel Gerald about that one. But it did. The auditorium looked really good, and everything just was great. The other thing I thought was really cool, I was down at Liberty the other day, and the public is really coming in and using the tennis courts. But they're not using it for tennis. Yeah, pickleball. They're all playing pickleball down there. There must have been, half a dozen games going on pickleball. So I thought that was real cool too, that they can use those new courts and utilizing that, because we do all that work sometimes, then we don't see them being utilized. So that was just a real neat thing there. And basically that's all I got besides that.
Thank you. I don't have anything. Dr. Starcher.
I just have a few things. First, I'd let the board know that the pre-bid for the Woodrow Wilson site package is this Thursday. So we're starting to move on that. We have several, I know we had a lot of students here tonight. We have another group of recognitions to do. Our next board meeting is June 9th, which is the last day of school. So I'm not sure how many will come, but we will be obviously recognizing some of our athletes. We just had some state champions in track, and I know we have softball and baseball continuing on. And we did receive notification of some band students that we need to recognize. So we will have all of them on. I hope at least some of them, if not all, will come out for the meeting on June 9th. And I believe we have a coach to recognize as well on June 9th. The last thing, while this information is still a little preliminary, here it is. I wanted to let the board know our billboard will be changing this week. We've been receiving information about our graduates and the amount of scholarships they have received so far. Now, again, I know this can change, but to date, we have our seniors, graduating seniors, have received about $6.2 million worth of scholarships. Now that's cumulative from the 4 high schools. But as we did last year, we'll be having our website, we'll share this information, and then we'll place it on the billboard as well. But based on numbers, we have 698 graduates total from our 4 high schools this year. So I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you.
I was
Thank you.
actually at, and I think Mr. Ford did Shady, and you did Independence, and I did Liberty for the Facilio Scholarship. And I was there that night when they were giving all the scholarships, and it was impressive and amazing feat to watch how many of our students have qualified and excelled to receive scholarships for further education. I mean, several $100,000, some of them.
Well, we have kids going to Princeton,
Yep.
to Harvard. I mean, some
Yes.
really prestigious schools.
Yep.
Raleigh County teachers do a good job.
Do a great job.
Do a great
Great job. And at the same time, people kind of get on public education, but I'll put our students up and their performance against anybody, any educational institution or any kind of situation in the county or the state. Even this year, once again, W Foundation Scholar, Raleigh County had one. There's only 4 of those in the state. And I mean, that's statewide. A couple years ago, when my granddaughter was there, we got 2 of them. This year we got 1. So they're able to excel in the performance of Raleigh County students on a state level and a national level is impressive. And teachers and administrators all take pride in that. And I think lots of time we focus on a lot of other things, and I love athletics as much as anybody else does, but we also need to concentrate on what some of these kids have done academically. They've really excelled, and I'm proud of all of them.
Nope. Thank you. And I'll just make one more thing regarding the scholarships. The Facilio Foundation has probably given in excess of $4 million since they started that program in 1978. I think that's fantastic. It's a local company that grew and continued to remember where they came from. Okay, we the people. Anybody here for that?
Go over there. If you'll just hit the button so we can hear you. There's a button that'll turn it red.
Okay, awesome. Hello, I'm Charles Kennedy. Back there is our teacher, John Quessenberry, who helped us fund this thing, as well as the fundraising garnered from parents and, of course, the Board of Education, which we're here to thank you for. This is my colleague, Jack Spasinger.
Hi.
And we just wanted to speak a little on how good it was of an educational experience to get to go to DC and practice the curriculum which we had read over, and getting to experience We the People and speak with lawyers who had firsthand experience of constitutional law, as well as competing on a national level and meeting people from other states. I know I personally got to talk to people from Nebraska and New Hampshire, which was a very fun experience. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting, all the different conversations that we were able to have with the different people, different lawyers and all teachers of all sorts. They had a lot of insights to the research that we were able to develop during our developmental period for the speeches, and I thought it was just very insightful to have these different conversations with the people we met.
I'd additionally just like to add, it was great to get to see that even though there was some disagreement, very fundamental to the point of this competition, it was awesome to see how you can work through disagreement and get through with civil discussion and not necessarily any ad hominem and attacking the person, but rather having a constructive disagreement to build towards something greater, to help build our country and serve our communities with civic action.
Maybe you should have hosted people from the White House and the Senate and the Congress over there, and they could take an example on how to have civil discussion and actually come up with a result without being personal. That would have been a wonderful thing, to do it.
We definitely need constitutional lawyers.
Yes. What was your favorite speaker that you had? Did you say
I can't remember names, but there was one judge, and she made a comment using a political scientist, and it was very insightful to me. She talked about how congressmen were, quote, single-minded creatures who only seek re-election, and that's what their driving goal is. And I actually ended up using that the next day of competition, and it was actually a really good point to my argument. It just really stood out to me, and like how well-researched these figures were that we were speaking to.
great job?
So what do you consider your career field to be?
I'm personally going to go to WVU for aerospace engineering, but I
Okay.
do think it was a great experience to like firsthand see more how our Constitution works and how our government is ran, not just on paper, but like how it's actually ran.
What's your career field?
I'm planning on going into cybersecurity. I do think it's important to be able to do some of this stuff and get a grasp on the Constitution.
Yeah,
even if it's
Rachel would
not
agree to
directly
that.
related.
Mr. Questenberry helped y'all a little bit.
Definitely.
For sure.
Anybody have any questions? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Miss Lacy, she here? There she is. Attendance report.
Mr. Questenberry, perhaps?
Mr. Cressenberry, you come back. John, come up with him. Come up with him, get a picture. Come on, get up here.
We'll get one by themselves and then we'll get one with you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Very confusing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You get your picture.
Whoa.
Hold on, guys. He's with the hide.
Great job, guys.
Okay, Miss Lacy.
Good evening, President Ford, Dr. Starcher, and board members. I'm here to present the 9th month attendance data. So for the 9th month, our attendance rate was 90.644. Our enrollment was 9,348. We had one high school exit for the month. For homeschool, we received 24 new homeschool for a total of 939. Sorry. For homebound, 4 new homebound for a total of 44 for the year. Alternative, 14 new with a total of 95 for the school year. And 5 new Hope Scholarship Notice of Intent for a total of 919 for this school year. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions? Is that hard to keep up with?
No, computers help a lot.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Blankenship, Pre-K Expo.
Good evening, President Ford, Superintendent Dr. Starcher, and members of the board. I would like to take just a few minutes to share some information regarding the Raleigh County Preschool Expo, which was held on April the 10th. This year's event was a success, and it demonstrated the strong collaboration that exists between our schools and our communities and families. The Preschool Expo brought together all 17 elementary schools, along with Head Start programs. We had private and faith-based preschools and numerous community organizations. In addition, we had several Raleigh County school departments that participated, including transportation, technology, attendance. We had our health services, the Office of Special Programs, communities and schools, and federal programs. And I would like to thank those departments for their assistance and support with the expo. We were also fortunate enough to have 32 community partners to participate in the event, bringing our total number of vendors to 62 vendors. The event was well attended with approximately 681 guests participating throughout the day. Families had the opportunity to obtain information about the preschool programs, complete their application, connect with the community resources, and just learn more about the services that is available to them. And then as of today, we currently have 469 students placed in Raleigh County Pre-K. classrooms and in our collaboration classrooms at Head Start, which we have, as of right now, just 18 students, I think, in those 2 classrooms for the upcoming school year. I wanted to give you the numbers, so I provided you with a chart to show you the current number of preschoolers enrolled at each school, and then along with that, the maximum number of students permitted at each site. So at this time, we have at Fairdale and Stanford, they are the 2 schools that are currently full. We had students on the waiting list for both schools, and we have placed those at another school, which was, their second choice. We were able to place them at their second choice. So those numbers, I wanted you to be able to see that. I would also like to sincerely thank everyone who participated, anyone that dropped by, and a special thank you to Access Health because they did help sponsor the event. They provided the bouncy houses and all of this year, instead of doing the trikes, they wanted to do something different. So they had water and sand tables for the students, and the students really enjoyed those. And then I have a little video that I would like to show to highlight the expo. The music's not, but that's okay. We don't need the music.
The schools get better every year with their displays. I mean,
Oh, I'm going to tell you that the schools did an excellent job on their tables and their booths. They were really great. We had several that actually had the costumes, they dressed up. So as you can see that everyone had a great day. The schools did an excellent job and the vendors, but the schools really did a great job of putting together their booths, trying to attract some preschoolers. So they did a great job. And I was telling someone this year, it seems like everyone was really nice. The public was nice. The students were nice. It was just a really great day. So I just want to say thank you. And do you have any questions?
cooks did a great job too.
Any questions?
I was
Thank
looking at
you.
the numbers
Yeah.
here, I guess 26, 27.
Yes.
That's your pre-enrollment.
Yes, those are the ones that we have already enrolled and placed, and the parents have been notified and have agreed to the placement.
So based on history, what kind of growth would you consider between now and the beginning of the school year?
I can tell you based on last year's enrollment, from last year to this year, at this time, we are down 104 students from last year at this time. However, I know from now until August, we will get more applications. I feel like several schools that are close or closer than they were, I think we'll pick up some, but we are definitely down from last year. And I thought that was important for you all to realize that, and that's why I wanted to include this chart for you to see. I think when I looked at it, we are like 67% at our capacity. So we still have a ways to go to have full capacity in all of our preschool classrooms. But I am anticipating some additional applications. And I am receiving a few every day. And then as soon as I receive those, I have been placing them in a school.
Superintendent, are we already, I guess we have to be because we can't do anything now the next personal season. So we're staffed at the maximum for those schools, correct?
Oh, we are, but we actually can make adjustments outside of personal season. There was already some flexibility in the law, and now there's more flexibility in the law. So I've already met with Ms. Blankenship and I believe Ms. Lowry, and we've discussed this. There are a couple of locations that we will monitor. We may actually exercise statute and move people, because I mean, you can look just at Beckley. I know the one class is full with 20, but we have enough staff there for 40.
That's what I was looking at. That's right.
I think Mabscott has 6. I think the other day when we talked, it had 5, but
Yes.
Mabscott only has 6 kids. So I understand some of these may be the parents' first choice, but yeah, we'll monitor.
Yeah, that's what I was just curious.
We will monitor. In addition, I just want to, like, some schools are close, for instance, Daniels Elementary, but we also have to remember that throughout the school year, as students qualify for preschool special needs, we also have to offer that, we have positions to offer them as well, spots. But I do feel like some of the schools we will increase. I'm not for sure on some that are really low, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's why.
The Head Start now. Who takes advantage of Head Start now?
Not very many.
I know that.
They are, as of with this year's contract, the year coming forward, we are working on the contract, and they are not for sure how many classrooms they are going to offer us. As of right now, they are offering us 2 at Central, which would be 40 students, and 2 at Sophia Head Start. But as you can see, out of Raleigh County students, we only have 9 at Central, 9 that selected Sophia as their first choice. Now, they are taking all of the students that qualify for Head Start services that don't qualify for the age requirement. So that is helping them. They typically have more 3-year-olds that don't meet that deadline. But for the classrooms at the universal preschool classrooms, we only have 18. They only have 18 of our students.
So, Mr. Snuffer, you asked about personnel. Am I right in that you can transfer them around, but you cannot RIF them, right?
Oh, that's correct. We wouldn't eliminate a job.
I think that,
I'm sorry.
I'm saying we're stuck is not right.
yeah.
We're committed to those year, but we can.
because with your question, it kind of led me down that, and I was thinking maybe he thinks we can RIF them, but no.
No, they're guaranteed a job. I apologize, but we can move them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blankenship.
We have no unfinished business. Under policies and procedures, the following has completed a 30-day comment period. Approved revisions of policy E.18 virtual school. Dr. Starcher.
Board members, as I'm sure you recall at our meeting when you approved this to go on comment, we had some discussion about adding an elementary virtual program. We have received 4 comments. They should all be in your packet. They would all be in support of adding elementary virtual as an alternative opportunity, if you will, or alternative education for elementary students. Ms. Blankenship is here. She is prepared to share some information about what elementary virtual in Raleigh County could look like, if you would like to hear that while you consider the recommended policy change. But based on the comments and based on what we had already submitted, my recommendation is that the board approve the policy as presented and allow Raleigh County Schools to operate an elementary virtual program for the coming school year.
I'd like to hear your comments.
If approved, we are prepared to begin advertising for the program.
So what you have here is if it is approved, we would have a Raleigh County Schools teacher. So what I wanted to make up a schedule and show what would be provided as far as instruction. So if you look at the first chart, that would be primary elementary, which would be our kindergarten through second grade. And I have it broken down so that you have the ELA and the math. So you can see that students would receive instructions 4 days a week. That would be for kindergarten through fifth grade. But for kindergarten through second grade, they would have a 70-minute block for reading and then a 70-minute block for math. And that would be for kindergarten, first, and second grade. So they would receive a total of 4 hours and 40 minutes of direct instruction in math each week and 4 hours and 40 minutes a week of direct instruction for the ELA. And that would be a direct teacher, direct instruction using a platform such as Teams. And with that, we have mystery science and social studies that they can just directly assign to them. And it is, for instance, mystery science has the videos that they could assign to them, and they could do that independently on their time. And the physical education would have to be assigned, and it would be they would have to do the PE independently as well. But they would get that direct instruction, including small group instruction for reading and for math. With the upper elementary, they would receive 65 minutes in reading and in math, but I wanted to make sure that they still had the science and the social studies. So that's why their small group instruction is a little bit smaller for 25 minutes, because I wanted some time for the teacher to be able to have direct instruction for that science and for social studies, and not just assign them a video for third, fourth, and fifth, because third, fourth, and fifth, it is not integrated. So they need a little bit of time to instruct them, to teach them, and then they would assign the mystery science and the social studies through the digital platform. They would do their iReady personalized learning every day, and they would have to do that independently at home. And that's, what the proposal is for elementary virtual. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
I guess I have a question for the group as I looked at this. And I know we haven't done that before, but I did a little research. I'm not sure it's illegal. Well, I say I'm not sure. I guess maybe I think. We normally approve a policy, and it's a policy in the book. And so I would like to, if we approve this policy, approve it only as a trial period for 1 year. That has to be reviewed at the end of that 1 year based on the performance of that thing. If not, we revert back to a different policy. I'm not comfortable approving it and saying, hey, it'll stay on the books for whatever. I'd rather just give it a trial for 1 year. I'm willing to give it a pilot 1 year and see what happens. I mean, I understand, I agree with the logic, and I agree the work you've done on that, but I'm not comfortable saying that's the way we need to go completely 100%. So if no one has an objection to that, I'll make my motion to approve this policy for a 1 year trial period. Pilot, yeah.
1 year. Can we do that?
We can do
Well, I
it.
definitely think
We can do it. I'm
I
pretty sure.
definitely believe you can do that. We would just note it. We would note it in the policy.
Yeah.
that it would be a 1-year pilot and that we would have to report back.
Yeah, report back in,
See if anybody takes up on it.
yeah. So I made a motion, you got a second?
Okay. I guess you need a second, then I'll talk.
Go ahead, did you second?
Oh, second. Sure.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm really struggling with this. You know, I said that the last time.
Well, I am too.
Because educationally, I just don't think it's a good thing for kids of that level. Take my little kindergarten boy at Clear Fork. If he didn't have exposure, knowing what I've learned about some other circumstances, I don't know. Like I said, you're making me struggle with it, Rick, because I was going to vote no flat out. I think it's educationally unsound. I do not believe in it. There is nothing in me that says it's good for kids in K and 1 and 2. No way.
You know what,
So-
they have some homeschool kids that are getting homeschooled that are probably getting not fixed.
Homeschool kids,
I mean, that's.
to me, that's a different thing.
Well, the only thing,
This is a policy we're putting in place to say, this is the philosophy of Raleigh County Schools. It is not Charlotte Hutchins' philosophy. And I know this board doesn't operate on my philosophy, which is fine, but I just don't think it's the right thing for kids. I think it's educationally unsound. Whether I will do it for a year or not, I'm struggling.
I understand,
Mr. Snuffer.
and that's the reason I want someone to prove me that I'm wrong, Charlotte. I'm giving someone an opportunity to prove me wrong, because I have some of the very same feelings you have. The only thing, I guess, a little bit of what Marie's saying is, I'm afraid the students that we will attract in this, if they're not coming to us, are probably gonna go homeschool and not have anything, or go to a virtual
Somewhere.
out of California or something.
But that's grasping out of thin air. That's a big maybe.
I know, that's what I'm saying there. But so we'll see. That's what I'm saying. That's the reason I'm not comfortable giving it carte blanche. I'm saying, let's go with I'll give you a 1 year. You know, if I'm wrong, then we'll definitely correct it. And, but if we're not, if we're right,
On what basis are we going to judge it?
Huh?
On what basis are you willing to go back and review and maybe not do it? What do you have to have as evidence?
well, these children have to have tests, don't they?
Yes.
Just like everybody else does stuff. So if these kids aren't performing
Then you know.
with the thing, then.
And I understand that too. But
I
you and I
know
both
there's no way you
know
make- the
there's
thing is
so
you're worried
much
about is
more
saying
to
that-
school than that test. And they're missing out on all of that stuff that
Social.
happens in those beautiful classrooms that we saw and those schools through Michelle's pre-K video. I mean, they are missing all of that.
They sure are.
And that is a huge chunk to miss, especially in this day and age when I think we would rely, excuse me, Rachel, too much on technology anyway. And
Yeah.
they're just missing all of that,
The social interaction, I think, is very important. And
Oh, I do too.
I agree 100%.
especially at that level.
At that level and doing stuff. I think, I guess what I'm being convinced done and to give it a try is that these are children who aren't going to get that social interaction anyway. So maybe if I'm wrong, I mean, we'll see how many we get in there, you know. I don't think this should be something we try to recruit kids out of the regular classroom into. This should be something that kids who aren't going to go virtual anyway,
Come to ours.
to come to our virtual. We offer it too, okay? You're out there marketing for a virtual thing. A parent I have parents all the time. I see them online and Facebook and everything else. These homeschools, they're marketing, not just talking, they're marketing their virtual things, okay? And so, and parents say, well, that's what I'm gonna do with my kid. And you see it all the time. So I'm just saying there's another game in town. If you're gonna do virtual, I don't agree with virtual period, but if you are gonna do it, we've got a good or a better program than anybody else does. So that's the reason I'm going to give it a 1 year try. And that's what I made my motion, so.
Okay, did we have a second?
I'm second.
Marie did.
Motion moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No,
No.
To those three.
Let the record show that 3, 4, and 2 against. Motion carries. We'll try it for 1 year.
But we'll still test it and we'll see, okay?
I hope you prove me wrong.
I
I'll
hope,
be the first to say.
no, Chuck. I hope they prove me wrong.
I do too, Rick. I do
Because,
too.
because I do have, that's the reason I'm conditioned to think.
Okay, moving on. Consent items A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Is there-
Approve the consent items as were submitted to us.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Under new business, consider approval of the increase of Therapeutics Incorporated contractual occupational therapy services for 25-26 school year. Ms. Ackerd.
Good evening, President Ford, Superintendent Sarcher, board members. I would like to ask the board to consider approval of a $40,000 increase to the therapeutics contract for occupational therapy services for the 25-26 school year, bringing the total amount to $160,000. This request is being made to ensure Raleigh County Schools remains in compliance with the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act and West Virginia Board of Education Policy 2419 requirements related to the provision of special education and related services outlined within students' IEPs. As the board is aware, occupational therapy is considered a related service under IDEA when required for a student to benefit from special education services. Raleigh County Schools must ensure that all related services identified within a student's IEP are implemented with fidelity and without interruption in order to provide students with a free, appropriate public education. Policy 2419 specifically addresses the responsibility of LEAs to secure qualified personnel and contractual services when necessary to ensure implementation of required services. Chapter 2 of Policy 2419 reflects that county boards remain responsible for ensuring special education and related services are provided even when appropriately licensed or certified personnel are not readily available through county employment alone. The need for additional contracted occupational therapy support this year has been directly impacted by staffing shortages created through extended leaves among occupational therapy personnel. Of the district's 3 full-time occupational therapists, 1 therapist has been out for the entirety of the school year on leave. A second therapist went out on leave beginning in November for the remainder of the school year, and our 3rd therapist has now begun her leave as well. As a result, therapeutics has essentially been covering services for 2 occupational therapists for much of the school year, and now also picked up the load of the 3rd. While Raleigh County Schools has employed more full-time occupational therapy staff this year than in previous years, going from 2 full-time to 3, the number of personnel actively available to provide direct services has been significantly reduced due to multiple extended leaves of absences this school year. This has understandably resulted in increased contractual costs necessary to maintain uninterrupted student services and compliance with IEP requirements. Approval of this increase will allow Raleigh County Schools to continue ensuring uninterrupted occupational therapy services for eligible students, maintain compliance with IDEA and Policy 2419, and fulfill the district's responsibility to provide FAPE to all eligible students for the remainder of the 25-26 school year. Do you guys have any questions?
I guess my question is boy, is that tough a job to be an OT in Raleigh County Schools?
I'm apparently, yes, right. Other, I think leaves, the 3 of them have taken leaves of absences this year for different reasons, so.
And then our 1st to 3, they generally go straight into pre-K.
Correct.
With the.
Yes, that is correct.
All the
Yes.
kids are on 1st to 3.
Our hope is next year, when our 3 OTs return to full-time, we should be covered. But for this year, there's been a necessity.
So I guess the thing is, the three that we have should be off of leave next year is what we're saying?
Correct. That is our understanding.
Because if not, we're just better off to just do contract services and forget about them.
Our understanding is they will be back.
And I'm just,
So the 40,000, that's
Based-
for the rest of this
Yes,
school
sir.
year?
Yeah, that would cover everything from the time that our 3rd OT went out through the remainder of the school year.
But I will say, based on timelines, some of them could still be out next year when we start school. The one should be back because it's been a full year, but we still have 2 others that we're
Potentially.
not sure.
okay. I move we approve the increase in funding for therapeutic medics, is that it? Theramedics? Theramedics, yeah.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Consider approval of the budget. Mr. Butcher, can you hear us?
I think he's already gave it to us.
Got some good news?
Board members, Dr. Starcher. Board members, Dr. Starcher, President Ford. We've already discussed the FY27 budget in public hearing, and I would recommend your approval this evening unless you have any other questions or concerns.
Okay, anybody have any questions? Do you have a motion to approve the budget as was presented?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
I approve superintendent's recommendations for personnel for year 25-26.
Good evening, everyone. If you will flip to page 3. At the top of page 3, you will see that we are removing the recommendation for Frederick Moore. That's the only adjustment. Yes, he is.
My recommendation is as presented with the one adjustment noted by Ms. Samaco.
I move we approve the superintendent's recommendation with the one correction as was submitted.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. I approve superintendent's recommendation for 26-27 school year.
And on page 1, you will see that there is one adjustment. We are removing Mark Gunther as a retirement, not because he is rescinding his retirement. It was inadvertently placed on the 26-27 recos. You will see it again at the next board meeting on the 25-26 recos.
My recommendation is as presented with the one correction noted by Ms. Samaco.
So, to have a motion,
Second.
all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Approve out-of-state travel for Ms. Stover, Gear Up Coordinator, to attend the annual Gear Up National Conference in Washington, D.C. Anybody speaking to that?
Ms. Hodges could speak to it if you have any questions.
Come on, gear up, girl.
Again, last year's national conference was in San Francisco. This year it's in DC. The agenda this time looks really good. I'll be attending as well, but it looks really good. Any other questions?
Anybody have any questions? So do I have a motion?
So moved. Bring you back a picture of this.
All those in favor say aye. Okay. All right, gear up. That's all we have on our agenda. This meeting is adjourned.